welcome to Investment for Freedom channel, and I'm Joanne. When we say assets, we usually think about money assets such as stocks and real estate, but actually time asset is more important. The narrow definition of time asset is my working hours that creates cash flow. As an employee or as a shop owner, if you're working to make cash flow, then your time asset is making cash flow. If we expand the idea of time asset a bit further, the broader definition of time asset is our geese farm itself that is consisted of many assets. Our geese farm has not only our time asset in narrow term that makes cash flow, but also other assets such as real estate or stocks that bring cash flow. As the owner of the geese farm, my broader time asset is making all the cash flow that the geese farm brings. By expanding our narrow term of the time asset to this broader term, we can find a way to evaluate our time asset. My broader time asset is the geese farm itself, which means we can evaluate the broader time asset with the golden eggs that the farm brings. For example, if we were to evaluate Samsung Electronics, then the broader time asset of Samsung is the Samsung Goose farm itself. Samsung Goose farm will possess real estates and stocks that Samsung owns, and also the narrow concept of the time asset of the employees or investors. Samsung employees that produce Samsung Mobile or chips are investing their time asset in Samsung, and so are the investors who are putting their money and time into Samsung Electronics. In our last video, we identified asset as accumulation of time and money, and Samsung Electronics is the accumulation of time and money. So how do we evaluate the Goose farm of Samsung Electronics? Well, we can try to value the broader time asset of Samsung with the total cash flow that Samsung Goose farm is generating. We will be using cash flow to evaluate various assets in upcoming videos, but I just wanted to highlight that cash flow can be very useful in valuing time asset also. Now, expanding the idea to our family's broader time asset becomes our family's goose farm. Focusing on growing the family's goose farm can give you a broader and longer view in your investment. One of the useful tools to run the family's goose farm is setting up a corporation. Corporation is a legal entity that can perform various investments on behalf of the stakeholders. Robert Kiyosaki once mentioned that the difference between the business owners and those who work for businesses. Can you see the difference between the two? Business owners or corporate stakeholders pay tax after they deduct costs related to running the business. However, employees pay tax first before they receive their salary. For example, if corporation made 100 million Korean won in sales and spent 50 million Korean won in sales related costs, then the taxable income is 50 million Korean won. The corporate tax rate is 10% for pre-tax income under 200 million in Korea, so this corporation will pay 5 million Korean won for corporate tax. If an employee's annual income is 100 million Korean won, then the tax rate would be somewhere between 24 to 35% in Korea. You can see the huge tax rate gap here. And if this gap continues to accumulate for not only 1 or 2 years, but for decades, then the end result of your wealth will change dramatically. After realizing this, I've set up a corporation of my own, and I have been making most of my investments through my corporation since then. All your family members can become stakeholders of the corporation, so growing the corporation will be growing your family's goose farm in a more efficient way. There are also some shortcomings in investing via corporations. Because corporation is an independent legal entity, you cannot simply withdraw the money from the corporation even if you're the owner. You need to follow certain steps to do so, which may incur some costs. Also, there are some maintenance costs, such as office rental costs and costs related to tax services. But despite all these, I think setting up a corporation is worth a try. If we set up a corporation and we start accumulating assets under the corporation, then the corporation will become a broader time asset that holds those assets. Today we talked about how we can evaluate time asset by expanding the concept of time asset and by using the total cash flow. Corporation can be a useful tool to expand our family's time asset to grow our family's goose farm in a more efficient manner. Hope you found this useful. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.